I must say it's been amazing just sitting here. The sun, even though I sweat a little bit, the sun, I just needed vitamin D. We're transitioning in Cape Town to winter, so the sun is not too hot, but then it just rain and suddenly all of the insects is out. So you can feel that the space is alive. Literally, you can feel that the space is alive, and I love it. So my next question is, how do you grow it? Do you grow it from seed, or do you take seedlings?
Good question. So we first make a survey, which is important, by visiting the indigenous forest and to survey what is growing. So once we have our species list, we go out and we procure it. So this is from what we could procure from what we saw out there. The species list is much longer. Here are 17 species in this forest specifically. And these trees, we got it from outside of Cape Town, from nurseries outside of Cape Town that are stocking indigenous trees. And in the implementation process, so we also had to do some engineering of the soil because the soil was a bit loamy sand. So we had an excavator machine come in, a digger loader, who helped us to dig in our design the 200 square meters. We got them to dig out 1 meter deep and putting the soil on one side. And then we mixed the top layer of the soil with clay and manure and composts, and we mixed that together, and then we replaced it back into the ground. So the soil has been a little bit engineered so these trees would have a better chance of survival. And before we planted the trees, we also introduced indigenous microbes to the soil by really drenching in the site full of indigenous microbes before planting it, because that's where the life really starts, is from the soil.
And I'm just fascinating by the methodology, how you take off the topsoil, thinking about indigenous microbes that needs to go into the soil. So there's a whole micro ecosystem that you guys are also mindful to, and then engineering it from the ground up. So this, it doesn't just happen by accident. It's not just putting a plant in it's carefully thought through.
Yes. And this methodology was developed from the 1970s in Japan by Dr. Akira Miyawaki. And he's an ecologist, or was an ecologist and botanist. And it's his methodology, and so it's through trial and error and practice and implementation through his work that also inspired many other people around the world, and companies, individuals and organizations to bring this methodology more forward to the mainstream, so to say, and that's what is gradually happening. And so within the network with Sugi as well, we are a network of many different forest makers from all the continents in the world. There's someone making forests just like this, but of course based off the indigenous trees species that are found in their area.